The psychological difficulty of doing nothing. Why is inaction so difficult, especially in investment decisions? Do nothing sounds simple, but especially in an environment of uncertainty and risk, this is one of the most difficult behaviors. For the human mind, inaction often means loss of control, missed opportunity, being defenseless against a threat. Yet, in many cases, the best decision is indeed to do nothing. 1. The brain equates action with confidence. Evolutionarily, the human brain is programmed to flee when it sees a threat, jump when it sees an opportunity, react in uncertainty. For the primitive brain, inaction is not perceived as remaining passive, it is perceived as being defenseless against danger. Therefore, doing nothing doesn't feel natural. 2. Action bias. In psychology, the tendency known as action bias shows that people prefer doing something to doing nothing in moments of uncertainty, especially under stress. Intervening provides relief. Making a decision gives a sense of control. Taking action reduces anxiety. In investing, this appears as selling on the dip, chasing on the rise, constantly changing the portfolio. However, sometimes the best move is not to disrupt the current plan. 3. Illusion of control. Studied by Ellen Langer, the illusion of control is the tendency for people to believe they are in control in situations they actually cannot control. Looking at the chart, making trades, adjusting, does not provide real control, but creates a feeling of control. Doing nothing eliminates this feeling. This creates discomfort. 4. Loss avoidance and panic. According to Daniel Kahneman and Amos Tversky's expectancy theory, people are hypersensitive to loss. Doing nothing during a downturn triggers the thought, what if it falls even further? Action reduces this anxiety in the short term, but in the long term, it often comes at a cost. 5. Uncertainty tolerance. Doing nothing requires tolerating uncertainty. Uncertainty is not a clear threat, but contains a potential threat. This keeps the mind constantly alert. Inaction here is not passivity, but the capacity to consciously carry uncertainty. 6. Fear of missing out. Doing nothing becomes even more difficult during periods of growth. Everyone is winning. I'm falling behind. If I don't get in now, I'll miss out. This feeling is fueled by the social comparison mechanism. Doing nothing is consciously giving up short-term excitement. 7. Neurobiological dimension. Action produces dopamine. Transactions, buying, selling, all create an expectation of reward. Doing nothing, however, does not produce dopamine. That's why it feels boring and challenging. But in the long run, success often comes with boredom. 8. Why do professionals move less? Experienced investors learn. Not every fluctuation is an opportunity. Not every downturn requires intervention. Not every rise is worth chasing. For them, inaction is a sign of discipline, not ignorance. Strong results. Doing nothing is difficult because the ego craves action. The brain craves control. Emotions crave relief. But strategic inaction requires discipline, requires tolerance for uncertainty, requires long-term thinking. Often in the market, the most expensive decision isn't the wrong decision, it's the unnecessary decision. And most unnecessary decisions stem from the urge to, I must do something. A powerful question to ask yourself. Is there really an opportunity right now? Or am I just trying to lessen my discomfort? Doing nothing is sometimes not weakness, but the highest form of self-control.